All right, hello everyone. This is the Fantasy Sports Boss Fantasy Football Podcast. It is a Monday, heading on into work for the day, and wanted to touch base on a couple of things as I drive in. And I know you always are interested in how I'm the one who's giving out all this advice and whatnot, and how I did in my particular drafts. So one of my two leagues has been doing the slow draft, and the league where I have the number 2 pick in, and we've gone through 5 rounds already, so I wanted to share with you how I did so far, and that way you guys can critique me, which is fair. I'm always about being transparent and fair here. And remember, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. I do a lot of these drive-by podcasts, along with the regular ones I do at home, live streams, all that good stuff, injury updates. So nothing too crazy in the first batch of preseason games. I've done the wrap-up on pretty much all of them. Kendry Miller, the rookie running back for the Saints, went down with a knee injury. Not sure the severity of it yet. They're saying, the worst case was avoided, but of course he's going to have to go through further testing. Alvin Kamara has already suspended the first 3 games of the season, so Jamal Williams will have bell cow status if Miller were to miss any time. The other thing is Rachaad White threw a major scare in the fantasy football community when he went down via the non-contact variety during practice yesterday. And White went so far as to himself say he's okay. He put a Twitter post out there. Todd Bowles says it really just scared him. He's going to be fine. So anybody who's interested in, and that includes me, interested in drafting Rachaad White as a potential PPR dynamo, will catch 50 passes easy, in my opinion. There's literally nobody behind him. And this is good news. So all in all, it was first full week of preseason, nothing earth-shattering as far as injuries, and that's the way you want it. We got to get through 2 more weeks. When players go down in practice, it's different when players go down in a meaningless preseason game as opposed to practice, because it can happen in any practice at any time. But when you lose a guy in a preseason game, that's always incredibly frustrating. Now, as far as I'm concerned, in my slow draft, like I said, we're through 5 rounds. I had the number 2 pick, and I took Justin Jefferson. Christian McCaffrey went number 1. And really, the entire first round was right on point in terms of there were really no crazy picks. Travis Kelce wound up going 9th. This is a 10-team PPR league. I'm in a 12-team league and also a 10-team league. And the 10-team leagues, it's a nice contrast between the two because, obviously a 12-team league goes much deeper. Can be a little tougher to find players. 10-team league, a little more cutthroat. Every team has a decent team, which makes you really earn it. So I do like the 10-team format. And that's really what fantasy originally was created upon. I don't know if anybody remembers. When at least the online version of it, when it first came out, it was 10-team leagues, whether it was fantasy baseball, fantasy football. So that's how it started. Now, anyway, you're not interested in any of that. So, round 2, it was, for me, I really just obviously wanted to fill in all the wide receiver spots. In a PPR league, this is a 3 wide receiver league, and it's imperative you do so. So, Garrett Wilson did fall to me at pick number 19, and I picked him up. So, I took Garrett Wilson. And the thing is, Devontae Adams went 2 picks before, so it was looking like I was going to have to choose between the 2 of them, because you know what, Devontae Adams, as much as I killed him this summer, at the end of the second round, it's not a bad spot. At the end of round 1, no way, no how. But I took Garrett Wilson. I'm really happy about that pick. I've been up on him all summer. So I start with Justin Jefferson, Garrett Wilson. Now, the real intrigue, Pat Mahomes had gone a few picks earlier in the second round. So, you know how I said you have to get one of those 8 quarterbacks among the big 3, Allen, Mahomes, Hurts, then followed by Jackson, Burrow, Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert. You want to get one of those 8 if you can. 9 if you add Deshaun Watson. I wasn't exactly in love with the players that were left for the 3rd round when it came back to me. So I was thinking to myself, all right, the guy who's going number 1, he's going to take a quarterback, and he wound up taking Josh Allen. He had him last year too, so I kind of knew when you're in a league with the same people over and over again year after year, you tend to learn who who everybody liked. So I knew he was going to go Josh Allen. So that left Jalen Hurts on the table. The other guy I was really debating on was Jahmyr Gibbs. I love Jahmyr Gibbs. I love Jahmyr Gibbs. The only issue I had with Jahmyr Gibbs is the fact I still think David Montgomery is going to be the touchdown guy. And I'm all about getting as high-scoring guys, including touchdowns, as I can possibly get this season. So my thinking was, all right, roll the dice. If Jahmyr Gibbs can somehow make it to me in round 4, I'll just do it, right? And I'll take Jalen Hurts. The receivers that were left, I didn't love. I mean, Calvin Ridley was there, but it was too early to go with him. So I actually took Jalen Hurts in the 3rd round. So I started Jalen Hurts, Justin Jefferson, Garrett Wilson. Pretty stoked. I got the number 1 wide receiver, and I got the number 1 quarterback on a points per game basis last season, because Hurts outscored Allen and Mahomes per game last year. So round 4 gets underway. Jahmyr Gibbs continues to slide. I'm like, oh wow, I actually might get Jahmyr Gibbs here. The running backs were going hot and heavy starting in round 2 through 3 and into 4. Round 1 was almost all wide receivers and Kelsey, besides McCaffrey. And Eckler went in the 1st round as well. And other than those two, it was all receivers and Kelsey. So it just shows you that the strategy of the game is shifting exponentially with the receivers going early, as they should. Much more durable. PPR league, especially a 3 wide receiver league. So Jahmyr Gibbs is almost there. We're 2 picks away for me in the 4th round. And what happens? Jahmyr Gibbs goes. And it actually, ironically, was my best friend who took him. I was so fucking pissed. I sent him a whole bunch of text messages, like with a lot of curses in them. Listen, we've all been there, where it's just the guy you've been daydreaming about, so close, and then he gets, sniped right before you go. So now, I need a running back. I do need a running back. But Jalen Waddle fell. So Jalen Waddle is sitting there in the 4th round. Now, I know he got injured. He had the Q mark next to his name, and that makes everybody nervous. But Jalen Waddle fell. So the best running backs left at this point were Miles Sanders, James Conner, Rashad White. It wasn't great as far as the backs. Cam Akers is there, but I wasn't in love with any of them. I took Jalen Waddle. I had to. In the 4th round, this guy is a 2nd round talent, and he fell to the 4th round, which was amazing to me. A lot of, some were scared off by the injury, Tua Tagovailoa's injury status. I get it, but I could not pass up Jalen Waddle. So my 3 wide receivers: Justin Jefferson, Garrett Wilson, Jalen Waddle. Still no running back. So. And Mark Andrews was still there. So I actually even was thinking about Mark Andrews. But I'm like, you know what? I have a quarterback already. I can't do quarterback tight end in the first 5 rounds. There's just no way. So I kind of quickly put that out of mind. So then it gets back to me in the 5th round. Miles Sanders is still there. For me this season, it was all about trying to get running backs that are the clear number 1 guys, but not paying a premium for it, because I didn't want to pay the Austin Eckler price, the Christian McCaffrey price. I didn't want to pay that first, even 2nd round price tag for a running back. I would have done it for Tony Pollard in round 2, but he didn't come close. He went in the beginning of the 2nd round. So I ultimately went with James Conner in round 5. Now, it was boring as fuck to take James Conner there. Like, totally uninspired, no doubt about it. You could kill me in the comments for it. I get it. I went with him over Miles Sanders and Cam Akers. The reason why is Conner is the entire offense, other than Marquise Brown. They're going to be trailing in almost every game, so there's going to be garbage time passes. And listen, say what you want about Conner. You got to be real. Take out the injury factor, and that is a significant part of his value. There's no doubt about it. But if you look on a per-game basis, James Conner is really freaking good. Scores a lot of touchdowns, catches a lot of passes, good runner, underrated runner. But he's not dependable. And he's on an offense that's pretty terrible. So, not loving it. Definitely not loving that pick. But at the same time, I got a clear workhorse guy in the 5th round. And that's where I'm at right now. 6th round is kind of just kicked off, so it's going to be coming back to me some point today. I got Miles Sanders lined up. Rashad White, Cam Akers are still there. I need a second back. Darren Waller is intriguing to me. Deontay Johnson, Jerry Jeudy are intriguing to me. Tyler Lockett, again, he always drops. He's still there, Tyler Lockett as well. So he is intriguing to me as well. I'm thinking if Lockett's there, I got to take Tyler Lockett. I'll stick him in the flex. And then and Dameon Pierce is there. So Pierce, Akers, Miles Sanders, Rashad White. All 4 of those guys, to me, are interchangeable. So I'm willing to go Lockett if he's there, and then whatever combination of those guys are left, the guy on the turn right in front of me is not going to take 2 running backs. So whichever one falls to me. Darren Waller, though, is the one that's got me a little bit. Now, I could, in a 10-team league, tight end, it's not as much of an imperative pick. You know, Pat Freiermuth, I could just wait on. Hell, even Evan Engram. I mean, you know, whatever. Dallas Goedert's still there. Kyle Pitts is still there. So, Lockett, if he's there, I'm definitely going to take Tyler Lockett. I'm definitely going to take him if he's there. You know, I know Jackson Smith is there to eat up some more targets, but Lockett, only receiver the last 4 years to catch at least 8 touchdowns. And again, I'm all about these touchdowns. And here's the thing, too, about my receivers. I got 3 receivers who all could go over 1,200 receiving yards. Jefferson's locked to get there. Waddle easily could do it. And here's the thing, too. Even though Tua is very injury-prone, Mike White is a gunslinging backup. He has shown the times he's played for the Jets that he can deliver the football on time, good accuracy. He had that blockbuster game against the Bengals. He can play. So it's not as dire as, you know, a Skylar Thompson coming in, which would just torpedo the value of Hill and Waddle. And then Garrett Wilson. So Garrett Wilson, to me, is gonna go nuclear. I think he could be a Devontae Adams for Aaron Rodgers. I really do. I really do. It's just too obvious. You could say, oh, Alan Lazard and Randall Cobb and, you know, Corey Day. No. None of those guys are going to hold a candle to Garrett Wilson in this passing offense. None of them. So that's where I'm at. So if I go Lockett, there's my flex. And if I go Rashad White, Dameon Pierce, you know, 2 bell cow backs. I mean, you can get Singletary. I know he's going to probably, maybe you can't classify Pierce as a bell cow, but Miles Sanders is. I think Miles Sanders is going to be going before he gets to me. And I do like Sanders, but, you know, I've cooled on him slightly. He's got the groin. Durability is not his thing either. But then again, none of these running backs have durability. That's the thing I'm trying to minimize against. I'm trying to get the running backs I'm drafting are guys who have the workload, but are just as injury prone as the top guys, but have much cheaper prices. So that's how I'm doing it. Running back is just a clusterfuck of injuries and just, you know, chaos every week. You know, Kenneth Walker, by the way, is still there too. I just don't like Kenneth Walker. I really don't. I'm more interested in his backup. I'm literally more interested in his backup. Yeah. So that's where I'm at. I got Hurts, Jefferson, Wilson, Waddle, Connor. Not the most inspiring running back one, no doubt. I'm going to get a backup quarterback because Jalen Hurts, you know, he's got that slim build. 8 of the 10 teams have taken quarterbacks. So those who wait on quarterbacks, just to let you know, 8 of the 10 teams have taken quarterbacks. Deshaun Watson's still there, so is Geno Smith. So if you're in a 10-team league, you really don't need to push it. Now, I pushed it because the value was there. The value was there. Jalen Hurts was so much better than the other players that were available when I picked. And you know, when you get past the first 2 rounds, best player available. if you still need somebody. So, obviously I needed a quarterback. He was the best player on the board. I took Jalen Hurts. So, yeah, you can go. And Trevor Lawrence was the last of those 8 to be picked. Justin Fields was 7th. Herbert went ahead of both of them. So if you're interested in Herbert, in almost every draft I've been in, Herbert has gone before Lawrence, and he's flip-flopping with Justin Fields, just so you know. So anyway, so that's the story. Probably going to do another podcast later, so look for that. Of course, any injury updates, I'm going to post videos on that. So make sure you have the subscribe button hit, the notification button as well. And all right, we'll chat later, guys. Have a good day.